What about the condition of other members of your group?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Samsar was also ill. He was also old. He complained of taking some medications during the arrest, that he was going to hospital and having some medication. He was old, some Papsen also the same thing. So I think Emil Toure also complained of some medical complications and stuff like that. As for Pamodu, Ibrahim Sawane, I do not get into it, but they all have complaints during those days because we all meet professionals coming from outside to see us. Yes.
What kind of professionals were coming from outside to see you?
There was this time that I saw Usino Dabo, lawyer Dabo, coming to the prison at the main yard, talking to Samsar, and Marisen Firdaus, the former Minister of Justice. Yes, I don't know what were they doing there, but I saw them. And the deputy clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Sane, at the time, was also, they came together, but I don't know actually what was their mission there.
So you told us that some members of your group required medical attention or had medical issues at the time. Do you know if they were given access to medical facilities or if a doctor or a nurse was sent in to look after them?
Yes. To be honest, I saw doctors coming there, seeing Emil Toure, and then having access to my other colleagues. I have seen them on several occasions.
So you spent 3 days there. Yeah. Tell us what happened after that.
So after the 3 days, we were taken back to the Carnegie Magistrate Court. So that from Thursday was on the 18th, so Friday was on the 19th. So Saturday 20 and Sunday 21st. So on Monday was on the 22nd of June. We were at the Carnegie Magistrate Court. So that was the day that we were granted bail, each of us.
So you were granted bail. Did your trial start after that?
On the 22nd, when we appeared, an application for a bail was the issue, was the matter at hand. So when we had bail, all of us dispersed. So there were journalists, other members of the press union came jubilating and then shouting, taking photos. In fact, in that instance, I think somebody was arrested for taking photos. Yeah.
In fact, a question that's important. Were you represented at that second instance when you were granted bail?
Yes.
You're represented by a lawyer?
Yes, we were all represented.
So after you were granted bail, how long did your trial last?
2 to 3 months, to be precise. Yes, but I was acquitted and discharged at the latter part, at the High Court. Yes, but it's around 3 to 4 months. Yeah, I am not so exactly, but if you check, it's around this area.
In fact, you have a paper with you that reported on your arrest, detention, as well as proceedings at the High Court.
Yeah.
Can we just take a look at that? Mr. Chairman, I would just like to read the headlines, the date, as well as the publication number. And then what I was more interested in is highlighting the charges. And then I will provide it to the commissioners to take a look while we continue with the questioning.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much. This is a copy of Fourier newspaper. It's dated 8th to 9th July 2009. It's number 79 of 2009. And the headline reads, "The 7 journalists appear in High Court today as pending case in Canifing withdrawn." Just a question on that. Were charges pending in the Canifing court as well as having to answer charges at the High Court? So were you basically answering charges in 2 courts? Can you switch on your mic?
The case was later transferred to the High Court because it was a very complicated case. So our lawyer by the time, Antuman Gay, argued that we cannot take our plea because there were additional charges that came when we appeared at the High Court. Then Antuman said charges at the lower court has to be withdrawn before we take our plea at the High Court. So, but later, those charges were withdrawn at the lower courts. Then we took our plea at the High Court, and then the trial continues.
One of the issues that we discussed yesterday, as well as today, were some of the laws that were used against journalists. So I just want to highlight some of the charges, just to illustrate that point. So one of the charges was publishing seditious publications contrary to Section 51, subsection 1A, read together with Section 52, subsection 1C of the Criminal Code. Another charge refers to conspiracy to commit criminal defamation, contrary to Section 368 of the Criminal Code, as well as criminal defamation contrary to Section 178 of the Code and punishable by Section 34 of the Criminal Code. So these were some of the charges that you and your colleagues faced. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
And please feel free to leave the mic on. During that time, you told us that you were then discharged. Can you tell us what happened? Why didn't your case proceed?
Yeah, our case, when the case was transferred at the High Court, Justice Wowo was the High Court judge who was in charge of our case. So there was this time that the trial judge was not taking things easy with us. So we had to make an application.
What do you mean by the trial judge was not taking things easy?
He was very harsh on us. It is as if that he was ready to convict and sentence all of us to prison. So the manner in which he was appearing to us during the trial was not easy at all. The words were not convenient, and it is as if that he was a mercenary judge.
A mercenary judge?
A mercenary judge. Yeah, he was. I have seen at the time, if Emil wants to come in and then make an argument, he will cut Emil in a way, you don't understand. If Sam want to come in and then make an argument, you see, it is as if that he will be exercising his powers to us as if that he is the judge and he is in control of the place, so we have to just dance to the tune that he wants us to dance to.
But at the time you told us you were represented by lawyers.
Yeah, there, Antuman Gay was there, but there was this time that Antuman has to march out from the whole trial because of the demeanor of the trial judge.
So essentially you're saying lawyer Antuman Gay walked out in
there was this
protest
time.
of the behavior of the judge.
Exactly. There was this time that he walked out from the trial.
Okay, continue. You were telling us what led to your...
Exactly. Then later, preparations and negotiations were done on the ground for us to have our case file transferred to another judge, that we cannot continue with Justice Wowo. We were also that if he continues on that matter, we will all be convicted and sentenced to prison. So we are not seeing that impartiality in him. So the Chief Justice at the time, Justice Agim, decided to seize the case file and then transfer it to Justice Fagbele.
And can you tell us what happened when Justice Fagbele took over? Yeah,
when Justice Fagbele took over the case, the trial continues in a normal way. Both parties were represented, and then Richard Chenje was the state prosecutor representing the Attorney General chambers.
So you felt at that point in time that you were before someone who was judging your case impartially?
Yeah, he was listening to us, yeah.
Tell us what happened. Were you sentenced or were people discharged?
Well, I was the one at the middle of the trial. I was the one who was acquitted and discharged because According to the judge, Justice Fakbele, that the crime that I was charged with has no connection with actually with what happened. I just took a photo, and just taking a photo does not mean that I should be charged with all those charges. So there was no proper argument as to why I should have been in that whole trial. So he ruled and make a judgment that I should be acquitted and discharged. So I was acquitted and discharged as the fifth accused person in the middle of the trial. So Pamodu, Emil Toure, Ibrahim Sawane Sar, Rajabi Diba, Pap Sen, and Sam Sar continued.
So essentially, there was no case for you to answer,
Exactly.
and you were released.
Exactly.
What about the rest of the group, the 6 journalists? Were they convicted in the end?
Yes, in the end, they were all sentenced and convicted to 3 years in prison.
From what you know, did they serve all that time?
No, they only served 27 days and were pardoned by the former president.
Can you tell us what impact, if any, this experience had on you? You told us that you were very young at the time.
Yeah.
You spent some time at the NIA and then spent some time at Mile 2, essentially for taking photographs of your editor being arrested.
Yeah.
What effect did that have?
Yes, the impact was I was one point in time afraid to continue with the profession because I have started seeing things coming hard on me, and I was very young. So the coming of my family, my mom, my dad, and my other brothers coming to court every day, I seeing them standing at the dock. Even my family in Brikama all have to pay every time coming to the court just to witness the trial. My friends all have an impact on me. Our names were everywhere in the international community. There were statements coming up condemning what was happening, pressurizing the former president to discharge all of us without conditions. These were all, negative impacts that had on me. So I was just strong, and then was listening and relying to my seniors because I was the youngest there. So that is how I just get away with the thing.
And you continued with the profession?
Yes, I still decided to continue with the profession because if you are in prison, it's difficult, but when you are out, it is as if that nothing happens.
For you?
Yes, for me, yeah.
In that year, in 2009, there was another incident in relation to your investigations regarding the witch hunt. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. This was in February 2009. There was this weak doctors that came from Gina Conakry. I was told by some of the witnesses, the victims, that they were hired by the former president, Yahya Jammeh, to come and screen witches and wizards in this with regards to that activity, illegal activity. So I started investigation in Makumbaya. Yeah, I went to Makumbaya and then speak to one family, a compound called Jamekunda. So there was this old woman who was abducted, but she was not the only one, a full boast. Yes, that's what people were abducted, taken to a compound called in Kololi, a compound called Baba Job's compound, spending 3 weeks, 2 weeks there, giving this hallucinogenic concoction to drink, all in the name of trying to screen witches and wizards in the country. So I bring the story to Forea, transcribe, write, and then give it to my editors to edit. So there was this big story that I came with, and the headline of the story is the burial of an abductee in Makumbaya. That was the headline, the burial of an abductee in Makumbaya. The old woman died out of from the abduction. So when I brought the story, I have written the article. So Emil Toure looked at it, and then Halifa Saleh, member for Serekunda